Hello. I just wanted to give you some instructions of what I would like you to do today. All right. So, yesterday we talked about bleeding Kansas and the consequences of the Kansas Nebraska Act. And it was not good, as you recall. And one of the things, this was the bleeding Kansas was in Kansas. There was literal fighting in Kansas. Congress made a decision, and then President overturned that decision. Um, so even at the national level, there was some stuff going on too. Today, I want to talk about another sort of consequence from the um, Kansas-Nebraska Act, and that is, and I've mentioned it before, it's the caning of Charles Sumner. Now I'm going to ask the substitute to read you the story of the incident, if you will, and then I'm going to have you look at a political cartoon. And then I'm going to have you analyze it. So first, I'd like the substitute to read the handout that I gave you about the caning of Charles Sumner. So you can pause it right here. Okay, so now that you've heard the story about Charles Sumner and Preston Brooks, I want you to look at a political cartoon that someone drew about the event, and I want you to analyze it. So the sub is going to hand out the analysis worksheet, okay? And so you need a piece of paper, or you need a pencil for sure, and I want you to analyze this cartoon. So when he stops the video, when I say stop, he's going to open up the political cartoon. And like we have done in the past, I want you to observe it for like a couple of minutes. And while you're observing it, I want you to actually go through the handout and jot some things down. Quickly scan the cartoon. What do you notice first? Write it down. Is there a title or a caption? Are there labels, descriptions, thoughts, or dialogue? Sometimes a political cartoon will have that. Does ours? List the people, objects, and places in the cartoon and the actions or activities that are happening. All right. So you meet it, you observe the parts, and then try to make sense of it. Are there any words or phrases that are most significant? List adjectives that describe the emotions portrayed. And there are several in this political cartoon. Which of the visuals are symbols, and what do they stand for? You may actually have to get out of your seat and get a little closer to the political cartoon on the board, because you may not be able to read some of the things that are on there if you're far away. All right, so you can do that. Don't block everybody's view. Who drew the cartoon? When is it from? What was happening at the time in history it was created? We already gave you that context. It was the Kansas-Nebraska Act. And what is the message? List the evidence from the cartoon or your knowledge about the cartoonist that led you to your conclusion. So if you are able to decipher the artist's last name, and it is on there, maybe someone look them up and see who this dude is. Okay, and then continue. What did you find out from this cartoon that you might not learn anywhere else? And are there any documents or historical evidence to help you understand this event or topic? And I've given you that background already, okay? So I'm going to go back and show you the political cartoon. I'm actually going to open image in a new tab. So I'm going to put no, right here, there. And you can pause the video and I'll enlarge it so you can see. So you can pause it here. So take a couple of minutes, I'd say 8 to 10 minutes of working on that, and then come back to, you can maybe work with one other person on this, and then you can discuss the worksheet with the sub. The sub can go through it and y'all can discuss it as a group. All right, so I'll give you some time. When y'all are done discussing, maybe I can give you some insight on some of the things that you might have not seen because there's some really interesting things going on here. All right, hopefully you've had enough time to observe and discuss what this political cartoon is all about. Um, so I hope you understand that this person here in black is Charles Sumner, and you saw that he is holding something in his hand right here that says Kansas. And here he has a quill in his hand for writing, perhaps. And I don't know if you saw this, but he looks like he's got a mark on his head from Preston Brooks beating him with the cane. All right. What's interesting, I don't know if you noticed this or maybe thought about it but didn't say anything, is Preston Brooks's arm is covering his face. But at the time period, would people know who this dude is? Absolutely. Okay. Let's see what else. We've got a knocked over chair. Papers here. This is where Charles Sumner was sitting. So it looks like he was knocked out of his chair in the midst of writing something, perhaps. Here's his ink. And then I can't remember if the handout said Lawrence Keat. This is Preston Brooks's friend, and he actually held back people trying to help Charles Sumner. So he's on this guy's side. So we have a concerned looking citizen here. He looks a little confused. I don't know what he's thinking, but we know this guy's thinking. So what side is he on, or whose side is he on? This guy's laughing. This guy is not. Maybe he's laughing too. So there's a mixed emotions here going on. So who drew this? Can you see? J.L. I don't know if you could figure it out, but it's Magee, M-A-G-E-E. Okay. So he's the one that drew this cartoon, and the caption reads, Southern Chivalry, Argument versus Clubs. Okay. So did anybody know what chivalry is, or did anybody look that up? So chivalry was an act of honor or respect. I usually would recall that this would be in like medieval times, where a knight would be chivalrous to people he met with honor, dignity, and the traditional idea of the South is that they're very honorable and have a very hospitable to whoever is there. And this person is saying this is what Southern chivalry looks like, because Preston Brooks was from, I think, South Carolina, and this is how he's acting. So is Preston Brooks for or against slavery? He's on the slavery side, okay? And Charles Sumner is against slavery. He's from Massachusetts. And so Charles Sumner was reading a speech that he made, and he insulted Preston Brooks's cousin, I believe. So he's standing up for his cousin, but more so standing up for what? Slavery? Perhaps. So is this for or against slavery, this political cartoon? What's it actually saying? Let me help you out, because this is something that I didn't see until a couple years after I've been using this cartoon. Did you notice the devil or the horns and the tail? Let me point it out to you. Ooh, do I have a little thingy? Pen. Let's see if I can use it. Check this out. You see this little thing right here? So I just looked at his hair and it was kind of messed up. Maybe because he's beating the crap out of Charles Sumner, I don't know. But The other thing that I noticed was the chair. Look at the placement of the chair. Look at this. Ooh, I better make it green. Because what do we have here? What does that look like to you? I'll tell you what it looks like to me. It looks like a tail, a reptile tail. And that looks like a horn. So if you didn't know anything about the cartoonist here, maybe if you caught the subtle way he placed the chair, maybe this guy is the devil. It's very sneaky. And he also has his arm across his face. So yes, while we know this is Preston Brooks, who else does it represent, or what group of people does this represent? Anybody could be standing here. I think what Meiji is saying is, look how the South is reacting to pressure from the North. While we're making speeches about it, an argument, the South is beating people up for it. So I believe you could say Meiji is for the North, or is on the northern side. And if you don't believe me, and I could be totally wrong, you could Google him and find out. Okay. All right. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Very subtle. It's drawn very well, and it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. Okay. So there you go. And when I get back, I think we're going to reenact this on Monday. I think we're going to do something different tomorrow because I'm not going to be here in the morning either. Okay. So, and I think it'll be fun, or better to do it in the morning when I get back on Monday. Okay. So you can look forward to that. All right. I think that's all I have for you. And